The strange pet in the crate Eli was used to strange deliveries. As a junior technician on the outer colony station Lambda 9, he handled everything, from broken robot parts to odd alien food supplies. But nothing prepared him for the crate that arrived that quiet morning. The box was small, sealed in black metal and marked only with a strange alien code. There was no return address. The station's delivery officer dropped it off with a shrug. Says biosample. You want it? Eli checked the tag. It wasn't listed in any official log, but curiosity got the better of him. He signed for it. Back. In his room, he opened the crate slowly. Inside was a small furry creature. Its fur was thick and soft, like snow moss. Big round eyes blinked up at him, and its tiny body was curled into a ball. It didn't growl, didn't move much. Just stared. Eli tilted his head. What are you supposed to be? The creature squeaked a soft, high-pitched sound. Not scared, not angry. Almost like a greeting. Well, hello to you too. Eli cleaned out an empty storage box and placed a blanket inside. He poured water into a shallow dish and crushed some nutrient cubes. The creature sniffed at the food and slowly began to eat. You're definitely not on any pet list, Eli muttered, checking the station's alien species database. No match. He leaned back, watching the little ball of fur settle into the blanket. It looked up at him with shiny eyes. I guess I'll call you Poco. The name felt right. And just like that, Poco became part of his daily life. Over the next week, Eli cared for Poco like a real pet. He talked to it when he came home from work, shared jokes, told stories. The creature listened silently, always, watching him with those strange, bright eyes. Sometimes when Eli reached out to pat its head, he could feel warmth under the fur, almost too warm, like a soft heat pad. But he thought nothing of it. Maybe that was normal. Maybe Poco was just a rare, heat-loving species. But then, things started to change. One night, while Eli slept, the lights flickered. A static buzz moved through the hallway, and the room temperature dropped suddenly. The old generators on the station were acting up again. Eli woke up shivering and sat up in bed. Cold again. That's when he heard it, a sound like fabric tearing. He turned on the lamp. Poco was no longer in the crate. The blanket had been pushed aside. Tufts of fur were scattered on the floor like dead leaves, and in the middle of the room, something was moving. Something bigger. Eli froze. A tall, glowing figure stood in the center of his room, skin like silver, long white hair that flowed to her shoulders, glowing eyes, bare feet, thin fingers. She looked at him. He couldn't breathe. The girl, no, the alien woman, spoke in a soft, quiet voice. Thank you for keeping me warm. Eli blinked, mouth half open. Poco? The woman gave a small smile. That name. You gave it to me. I liked it. His heart raced. What are you? She stepped closer. Not in a scary way. Slow. Gentle. Her voice didn't shake. Her eyes didn't blink. I was never a pet. I was hidden. Eli backed up into the wall. His legs felt weak. Hidden? From who? She touched the center of her chest, where a faint light glowed beneath her skin. From those who wanted me erased. Eli shook his head. You were just a tiny creature, furry, quiet. She nodded. That form protected me. It's a disguise, one I cannot return to now. The change is complete. Eli sat on the edge of the bed, breathing hard. You were in my room. For a week. As a pet. The alien girl looked at him. And you were kind. You fed me. You didn't hurt me. That's why I let you see me now. She knelt beside him. Her skin gave off soft heat. Familiar, like the warmth he'd felt when petting her head. I owe you something, she said. I don't want anything, Eli whispered. I just want to know who you are. She placed a hand gently on his arm. My name is Kaylee. And so the strange pet in the crate was no longer a mystery. She was a survivor, a secret. And Eli's quiet world had just changed forever. Was never an animal. Eli hadn't moved in 10 minutes. He just sat there staring at the glowing alien girl in front of him. She wasn't blurry. She wasn't a dream. She was real. And she had once been the soft, quiet creature that slept in a crate near his bed. Now, she was tall, graceful, and looking at him with calm eyes. I know this is strange, she said gently, still kneeling beside him. I won't hurt you. Eli finally found his voice. You were Poco. I still am, she said. You named me with kindness, but my real name is Kaylee. She stood slowly and reached for the blanket to wrap around herself. Her skin shimmered faintly under the lights. The strange glow in her chest had dimmed, but it was still there, like a soft flame behind her ribs. Eli rubbed his eyes. How did you turn into this? Kaylee sat on the floor across from him. My species has a defense system, a way to hide. We change form, shrink, disappear into harmless shapes. It's painful, but it keeps us alive. Eli tried to understand. So, you were pretending to be a pet? She shook her head. No, I was forced into that form, drugged, disguised, sold in a black market crate. Eli's eyes widened. Sold? You mean someone put you in there? Yes, she said softly. And if they find me again, they'll finish what they started. Eli stood up, heart racing. Wait, you were trafficked here? Someone out there is looking for you? Kaylee nodded. They erased my past, my name, my memories, but some things are coming back now. Why didn't you speak earlier? Eli asked. I couldn't, she replied. The change trapped my voice. My body was locked in that form until it adapted to this planet's heat and air. But when you gave me food, warmth, shelter, something inside me healed. Eli was quiet for a long moment. Then he walked over, sat beside her, and said, I didn't know. I thought you were just a weird alien pet. I know, Kaylee said. But you never treated me badly, not once. He looked down. I would never. She looked at him closely. That's why I'm still here. The next morning, Eli kept Kaylee hidden. He sealed off the maintenance closet behind his quarters and set up a private heater and food stash. The other workers on the station didn't ask questions. No one ever did. He also blocked external comms from his room, just in case anyone was tracking her crate ID. Kaylee stayed quiet during the day but learned fast. She studied his datapad, picked up new words, and even laughed at his bad jokes. At night, they talked. She told him about the flashes of her memory, trees made of light, a mother's voice, a distant planet she no longer remembered the name of. It was taken, she said, all of it, because of what I am. What are you? Eli asked gently. She was silent for a moment. Then, a mistake, a threat, a secret someone wanted buried. Eli shook his head. No, you're alive. That means they failed. Kaylee smiled slightly. You sound sure. I am, he said, but the peace didn't last. 3 days later, an unmarked ship docked at Lambda 9. It didn't send greetings, no records, no cargo listed. Eli watched from the security room. 2 tall figures in black armor stepped out and showed a photo to the officer. It was a blurry image, but he knew it. It was Poco. That night, Eli locked every door to his living quarters. Kaylee stood near the wall, arms crossed. They found me, she said quietly. Eli nodded. Yeah, they're asking questions. I told the others I've never seen anything like that before. Kaylee looked at him. You lied for me. I'd do it again. She walked toward him. You're not afraid? I'm terrified, he admitted, but I'm not giving you up. She reached out and touched his chest gently. Then I'll stay. Her eyes shimmered. For now. Later that night, Eli woke up to a sound. A quiet hum. He walked to the maintenance closet. Kaylee was floating slightly above the floor, eyes closed, skin glowing, whispering in a language he didn't understand. He didn't disturb her, but in that moment he knew. She was more than rare. She was becoming something powerful, and the people who had put her in a box were going to regret it. They're looking for her. For the first time in years, Eli couldn't focus at work. He dropped tools, missed repair schedules. His mind kept drifting back to Kaylee, not Poco, not a pet, but a person. A woman from a hidden past, with glowing eyes and a voice that felt too human to be alien, and too alien to be understood. But now she was in danger, and so was he. Across the station, rumors had started. Strangers asking questions. Unregistered ship docked 2 nights ago. No flight code, no customs scan. Eli overheard a conversation near the mess hall. They're searching for something, or someone. You mean someone illegal? They had a picture. Looked like a fuzzy thing, real creepy. Eli's heart dropped. He knew it was her. That night he returned to his quarters early. His door was locked tight, reinforced. No one could get in without clearance. Inside, Kaylee sat cross-legged, her silver skin glowing softly under a heating panel. I heard them talking, she said before Eli could speak. He closed the door and leaned against it. Then you know they're here. Kaylee looked up. They're not just looking. They're hunting. Eli told her about the strangers asking around. They had a photo of you, from your old form. Kaylee nodded. It's an ID tag. Slavers burn it into every crate. Even if I shift forms, it stays the same. Can we remove it? No, she said. But I can block it. If I'm calm and close to heat. Eli frowned. You mean warmth actually hides you? Kaylee placed her hand over her chest. My energy responds to connection, real care. When I feel fear, they can trace me. Eli thought for a moment. Then we keep you close, hidden, warm. I won't let them find you. Kaylee's voice was quiet. They won't just stop at finding me. If they think you helped me, they'll erase you too. I don't care, Eli said. Let them come. She looked at him, eyes wide. Why are you like this? Because, he said, you're not a thing. You're a person, and someone has to care. Later that night, Kaylee insisted on moving to a deeper hiding spot. Eli guided her through an old access shaft that led into the maintenance deck. It was rarely used and hidden behind a locked tool rack. Eli placed a heat generator inside and gave her food supplies and water. You'll be safe here, he said. I'll miss the window, she said, smiling softly. But I like the quiet. Before leaving, Eli paused. Kaylee, if anything happens, wait for me, no matter what. She nodded. I will. The next day, things got worse. Security footage from Deck 3 showed one of the strangers entering rooms without access. No knocking, no authorization, just silent scans and forced locks. When asked who they were, they showed forged clearance badges and said, "We're looking for lost property." Eli rushed back to the access shaft during his break. Kaylee was there, sitting, calm, but the moment she saw his face, she stood up. They're closer, aren't they? Yes, he said. They were in Sector C, just 4 rooms from here. Kaylee looked down. Then it's time. Time for what? She reached up and removed the small crystal embedded behind her ear. Eli had never noticed it before. This is my failsafe, she said. If I crush it, they lose my tracking code forever. Then do it, Eli said. She paused. If I break this, I lose something too. I lose the last data connection to my people, my past. It's all stored here. Eli stepped closer. Is it worth it? She looked at him. You're worth it. And with that, she crushed the crystal. Across the station, one of the hunters dropped his scanner. The signal was gone. Target signature offline, he said coldly. His partner replied, Still here. She didn't leave. Search manually. That night. Eli sat in the shaft with Kaylee, both silent. Then she spoke. You did more than feed me. You gave me trust. That's more rare than freedom. He looked at her. What now? She leaned closer. Now I show you something else. She closed her eyes and her skin shifted. Her glow brightened, then faded into subtle waves of soft color. From her fingers, a small pulse spread across the metal floor. Eli watched as the lights in the shaft blinked. You're controlling the system, he whispered. Kaylee opened her eyes. I couldn't do this before, but now I can feel your machines. She wasn't just a girl anymore. She was awakening. What she really is. The shaft lights stopped flickering. Eli stared at Kaylee as her hand slowly lowered. The air around her still hummed with soft energy. She wasn't glowing from heat this time. She was glowing from something deeper, something alive inside her. I didn't know you could do that, he whispered. Kaylee looked down. Neither did I. Eli leaned forward. What are you, Kaylee? She sat against the metal wall, arms wrapped around her knees. Her voice dropped to a whisper. I didn't remember. Not until now. But something in me broke free when I destroyed that crystal. Eli sat beside her, silent, waiting. Finally, she spoke again. I wasn't just someone's prisoner. I was someone's daughter. My mother was part of a peaceful ruling line. Our world wasn't full of palaces. It was full of voices. We led, with sound, with harmony. We could calm beasts, heal sickness, and shift light with a hum. Eli blinked. You were royalty? She nodded slowly. Yes. But when war came, we were the first to be taken. Because of your power? Because of our silence, Kaylee said. We didn't fight back, we didn't build weapons, we trusted peace, and peace failed us, Kaylee continued, her voice steady now. The attackers wanted our gifts, but they couldn't control them. So they locked us away. Some they erased. Some they turned into tools. Me? I was too young. They changed me, forced my body to become something no one would notice. A pet, Eli whispered. She looked at him, eyes sad. Something soft. Something silent. Something worthless. Eli shook his head. But you're not. You never were. She looked at him carefully. You were the first to treat me like a person. No fear, no control, just care. You deserved it. I didn't think I did, she said. Until you. Outside the shaft, the station lights flickered again. A warning signal flashed in the upper control deck. Unscheduled power shift detected on deck 4. The hunters looked at each other. She's there. Eli checked the station's internal map on his pad. They're coming, from the east corridor, fast. Kaylee stood. Then it's time to leave this place. Where will we go? To someone who remembers my people. There are whispers of a rebel network. One that hides the forgotten. I need to find them. Eli hesitated. You can't do it alone. Kaylee reached for his hand. I wasn't planning to. The escape route was risky. An old emergency pod sat beneath the fuel station, barely used in years. If they could reach, they could launch into orbit and request pickup from nearby neutral space. Eli packed gear quickly. Kaylee changed her clothes. Nothing royal, just a technician's long coat. But even hidden, she moved with grace. I don't want to hide anymore, she said. I know, Eli replied. As they slipped into the lower tunnel, Kaylee paused and placed her palm against the wall. A pulse of soft light spread across the metal. The internal lights flickered again. What did you do? Eli asked. Kaylee smiled faintly. I confused their scanners, bought us time. The hunters reached Eli's quarters and found nothing. They scanned the room. Cold. They moved to the shaft. Still cold. But one paused. She's changing. What? She's unlocking herself. That's worse than escape. If she remembers who she is, we'll lose everything. Then stop her. In the tunnel, alarms sounded. Doors began locking behind them, one by one. Kaylee turned and extended her hand. A burst of energy rippled through the hallway, short-circuiting the next seal before it closed. "You're getting stronger," Eli said. "I'm remembering." They reached the pod. Eli opened the hatch. Kaylee paused. "Once I send the signal, they'll know." He looked at her. "Then make them hear it." As the pod launched, 2 hunters watched from above. "She's not lost anymore." "No," the other replied. "She's found." Inside the pod, Kaylee leaned back against the seat, eyes closed. Eli sat beside her. "What happens now?" She opened her eyes slowly. "Now, I stop being a pet." The human who took a stand. The escape pod soared through the upper atmosphere, silent except for the hum of its engines. Inside, Eli and Kaylee sat close, both strapped into the narrow seats. The stars were beginning to shine through the windows. They had escaped Lambda 9, but they were not safe. Eli checked the onboard screen. "We're entering orbital space now. Signal range is clean, no interference." Kaylee looked out at the stars. "This is the farthest I've been from the cage." "You're free now," Eli said. She turned to him. "No, not yet. The hunters are still out there. They don't stop just because we flew away. They follow. They always follow." Eli tapped on the panel. "I'm sending a beacon to a rebel outpost in the Zephyra belt. If they hear us, they'll come." Kaylee placed her hand on the console. Her fingers glowed faintly. The system responded faster than it should have. "You're learning to control." "Tech?" Kaylee nodded. "Our voices used to command machines. I'm remembering how to speak to them again." Just then, the warning lights turned red. "Unmarked ship detected. Following Vector 61-7. Eli's eyes widened. "They're behind us." Kaylee's voice was calm. They were always behind us. The screen showed a dark ship trailing close. Small, but fast, designed for pursuit. It fired no weapons. "Not yet. They don't want to destroy us," Kaylee whispered. "They want to take me." Eli looked around the pod. "We have no shields, no weapons, nothing. Then we have to land." "Where?" Kaylee closed her eyes. "There's a moon, just ahead. I know it." "You've been there?" "No," she said. "But my people were. Long ago. There's something there." Eli trusted her. He turned the pod and sent them diving toward the icy moon below. The enemy ship followed fast. They crash-landed hard, sliding across a snowy plain. The pod's hull cracked, systems fried, sparks flying. But they survived. Eli groaned, pulling himself out of the seat. "You okay?" Kaylee stood already, not injured, but her glow was flickering. "I'm fine," she said. "But we don't have long." In the distance, the enemy ship landed. 2 hunters stepped out. Black armor, smooth helmets, silent. Eli grabbed a broken pipe from the wreckage. Kaylee looked at him. "You're going to fight them?" "If I have to. They'll kill you." "I'm not letting them take you." She stepped forward. "Then I'll fight too." The hunters marched through the snow, weapons drawn. Eli stood between them and Kaylee. "Leave now," he shouted. They didn't answer. The first raised his arm. A pulse cannon charged. Kaylee screamed, and something inside her exploded. A wave of energy burst from her chest, silver and blue, bright as a sun. The snow melted. The sky flashed. The 2 hunters were thrown back into the ice, weapons shattered. Eli fell to his knees, shielding his eyes. When he looked up, Kaylee stood in the center of the impact, glowing, lifted above the ground, eyes shining like stars. She floated down slowly and rushed to Eli's side. "Are you hurt?" "I think I'm okay," he gasped. What was that?" She took his hand. "I chose you." And something inside me awoke. "Your full power?" She nodded. "Not to destroy, to protect." She looked at the fallen. Hunters. They groaned, trying to rise. She stepped forward and spoke in a voice Eli had never heard. It wasn't just sound, it was command. You will leave this place. You will forget me. And you will never chase another like me again. The hunters trembled and obeyed. Later, as night fell over the quiet moon, Kaylee and Eli sat near the broken pod. They had built a fire from old tech parts. The wind was soft, the stars were calm. You stood for me, she said. Always will, he replied. You gave me your heat, your name, your trust, and you gave me purpose. She smiled. They turned me into a pet, to hide me, to make me small. But you saw more. I saw you. Above them, a rebel ship blinked into orbit. They had heard the signal. Rescue had arrived. But Kaylee didn't stand. She leaned into Eli and whispered, I don't want to run anymore. I want to live. Her voice shakes the stars. The rebel ship hovered above the icy moon like a silent guardian. Kaylee and Eli stood at the top of the frozen hill, waiting for pickup. The snow around them still steamed from the energy burst Kaylee had released. She was calm now, wrapped in a thermal blanket, glowing softly in the night air. Eli stood close beside her, his shoulders still sore but his eyes full of purpose. The shuttle landed with a soft thump. A door opened. A woman stepped out, human dressed in dark rebel gear, her eyes sharp. You're the one who sent the signal? She asked. Kaylee nodded. Yes, and I'm the one they wanted erased. The rebel looked her over, then nodded. Then it's time the galaxy sees you. Inside the ship, Kaylee sat in a clean room with a recording lens in front of her. Eli sat just outside watching through the glass. The rebels had prepared everything. Open signal, clear relay, uncensored access. She could speak to the entire star system at once. She took a deep breath. I'm ready, she said. The camera light blinked green, and Kaylee began. Her voice filled homes, stations, and ships. People across 5 sectors stopped what they were doing to listen. She didn't shout. She didn't cry. She spoke. My name is Kaylee. For many years I was hidden, trapped in a cage, changed into something small, something silent, something no one would protect. Across screens, images of her past form appeared, the small furry creature in a crate. Then, Kaylee, now, standing strong, alive. They turned me into a pet, she said, because they feared what I might become. On warships, admirals turned up the volume. On backwater planets, farmers sat stunned. On data stations, coders stared at the screen, whispering, She's real. Kaylee continued, but one human didn't look away. He gave me warmth, not just heat, but kindness. He didn't know who I was, but he chose to care. Eli looked down, eyes burning. She went on. I remember now. My people were healers, speakers, builders of peace. We never fought, so they destroyed us. But I survived. And now I speak, not in anger, but in truth. She paused, then added softly, If they erased me once, I will not let them do it again. Her message spread like a wave. Old friends of her species, those who had hidden, stepped forward. Others admitted they had once seen beings like her, locked away in labs or stations. Public pressure grew. Peaceful protests began. Secret programs were exposed. Slave routes shut down. Kaylee had done more than speak. She had shaken the stars. Later, in the rebel command deck, the leader approached her. You've caused ripples, Kaylee. No one will ignore you again. I don't want fame, she said. I want others like me to be free. And they will be, the leader promised. Because now, they have a voice. That night, Kaylee stood on the viewing deck of the rebel cruiser, staring at the stars. Eli joined her. You didn't just survive, he said. You changed everything. She looked at him, her voice softer now. You did that. You helped me believe I was more than what they made me. He smiled. You always were. She stepped closer. Wherever I go next, I want you there. You'll never be alone again, Eli said. I promise. And across the stars, a message echoed still. She was never just a pet. She was a queen waiting to remember. And now the galaxy would never forget her again. She was a pet. Now she's a legend. Weeks passed. Kaylee's message had reached every major system. The galaxy no longer whispered her name in secret. They spoke it aloud, with respect, with awe, with hope. Her face appeared on news streams, independent, broadcasts, freedom campaigns, no longer hidden, no longer curled up in a cage, now standing tall with eyes full of light and purpose. But Kaylee was not chasing fame. She had another mission. She stood at the center of a rebel council chamber. Around her sat leaders from 6 different planets. Alien, human, machine. We want you to stay here, one of them said. We'll give you protection, resources, a voice in policy. Kaylee shook her head gently. Thank you, but I need to go somewhere else. Where? They asked. She looked toward the stars outside them. Window. There are others like me, she said. Hiding. Hurt. Alone. I remember what that feels like. I want to find them. I want to let them know they're not forgotten. You'll be hunted. She smiled. I was hunted before. But now, I'm not alone. Outside, Eli stood by. Their ship, small, fast, customized by rebels for quiet missions. When Kaylee walked down the ramp toward him, he smiled. So council meeting go well? She laughed. They want me to become a symbol. You kind of already are. I don't want statues, she said. I want to be useful. He nodded. So, what's the plan? She leaned against the ship. There's a list of places where orphaned biosignatures were last recorded. I want to start there. You're building a rescue path, Eli said. We're building it, she corrected. Together. They launched quietly. No big celebration. Just 2 people, and a mission, to bring light where it had been stolen, to give names to those turned into shadows, to free the forgotten. They landed on their first world, a desert moon used by traffickers before the rebellion pushed them out. Kaylee scanned the underground ruins and found something strange. A pod, a life signature, a child. Her name was Veli, tiny, covered in fur, eyes wide with fear. Kaylee knelt before her, smiled gently, and extended her hand. I know what they did to you, she said. But you're safe now. Veli blinked. You look like me. Kaylee nodded. I used to be where you are. The child took her hand. From there, the mission grew. Kaylee and Eli found 2 more, then 10, then 30. Some had powers like hers. Some had no powers, but had suffered all the same. They created a sanctuary, not a prison, not a lab, a place to heal. News of Kaylee's efforts spread even further, but she still stayed off the stage. She let others tell the story. Until one day, a reporter found her under the starlight and asked, You were once a pet. Now you're called a legend. What do you say to that? Kaylee smiled and answered softly, I say this. If you feed someone, shelter them, and treat them kindly, don't be surprised when they grow strong enough to change the world. Eli watched from nearby, proud as ever. She had once been a secret, in a crate. Now she was a guide for the lost, a voice for the silent. And the most beautiful part? She never forgot the man who gave her his last blanket and called her Poco. On a peaceful night far from war and whispers, Kaylee and Eli stood side by side, watching a sky full of stars. You've become everything they feared, he said. She looked at him. No. I became everything you believed I could be. He took her hand. And somewhere in the universe, another small creature blinked up at a kind stranger and hoped for a warm place to rest. Because legends don't always begin with fire or crowns. Sometimes they begin in a crate, And with someone who chooses to care,